guys, so it's week 6 and I'm just going through our lesson outline for anyone who has gotten confused or missed a week or needs a bit of help. As always, if you hear weird noises in the background, it is my delightful puppy Dolly just being a menace and my air conditioner, which is being ridiculously loud. So hopefully you can still hear me fine. This week we have a couple of different things that we're working on. We're recapping those timeline activities that we looked at last week so that we can continue to think about creating a nice short, sharp, shiny little poster that summarizes the event. Then we're going to go back to our week 5 tasks and just have a look at what was it that we have submitted, what things do we need to keep going on, and we've got some time to review that. At 10 o'clock, hopefully around about then anyway, we'll be studying our cultural identity activity that we're introducing, just this additional layer now. We've looked at who we are, we've looked at connection to country and acknowledging that connection. We've looked at historical events and how they are potentially going to impact identity. And now we're looking at cultural elements as well. After recess, I'm going to explain a little bit more in detail the marking criteria, and we're going to spend some time doing some expressions of identity, which might be your vision boarding or your letter writing, and some quizzes, and that would be our day. So, just to recap what we went through last week, we know that we had some pretty significant events that needed to be considered when we think about what does it mean to be a person living in Australia, being in response to the the history of Australian government policies that have traditionally been rather problematic because of their dishonouring and devaluing of First Nations people, their culture and land, connection to country, all of the things we've been talking about. So this was our list of events, and we were working to create a very short summary just about each of these so that we can share this learning together. And we wanted to think about what was the actual event that's happened, what are some of the details around it, when did it occur, why did it occur, and then more in depth, what is the impact we'd be seeing there, and how are we seeing the fallout from these things having happened. Moving into our next activity, we are now filling out our culture and identity worksheet. And so what we want you to do is to go through these 5 aspects of culture. People, I want you to make a list of all the people who are important for you in your life, places that you feel connected to, the values that you have. What is it that you value deeply? What customs do you like to work through that are special to you? What are some rituals, some traditions, maybe things that you do at school or with your family? And then what sort of language or communication are you doing? It could be nicknames, it could be group chats that you're in, it could be letters that you send, it could be FaceTimes that you have, whatever it is. So we need to write down some stuff and put in just a little, short summary. Then we're going to go through our discussion of cultural disconnection. So if we remove 2 of those columns, someone randomly just comes and rips them off of you, and everything in that column disappears for you, what is it that the impact would be? And so we're going to workshop this as a class, and we'll put the notes up on the Google Classroom for you after. But we're going to go through these questions because it's important that we can think about what is it that would have happened from these historical events that we have looked at, to the people experiencing them, to their families, and then to our later generations of young people, which is you guys. So once we have talked about this as a class, we're then going to share our notes. We're going to get you to put this into your identity portfolio, where you will be responding to your answers and fleshing them out in more detail as desired. So this takes us to our marking criteria, and this is what we are marking you on. We have done a whole bunch of different activities each week, and we're collecting up either in hard copy or digital copy, or sometimes both, and we're working our way through trying to make sure that we can see not only our personal identity, but where we fit within a broader social and cultural space. That work all comes together in a portfolio of learning. It's pretty straightforward. If you can show us that you've done the things, you will probably be sitting in that nice C band. If you've done some things with just a little bit of detail and we don't really get a lot of your thinking, it will probably be more in that D band. When you start to explain yourself, so we start to see in the A and the B band that we're getting in depth or perceptive or considered, we're getting a bunch of different elements happening here that are showing that you're not just doing something, but you're really genuinely thinking about it or pushing yourself to reflect upon it. That's where we're getting those higher grades for those of you who would like to push yourself. The final part that we will then collate all of this into is some products around yourself as a person, as a young person, as a First Nations person, as a member of Saasta, as a student at your school, as a part of your family, as part of your hobbies or social groups, whatever your personal identity is. So there are things like our vision board, our personal acknowledgement, and then some other sort of work that we're looking at around like your symbols. So it could be something to do with your letter that you write to us. It could be something to do with drawing something that you want to express yourself that says who you are. Really, it's quite open and variable. I'll be workshopping with people depending on how they're feeling. The last little bit is a reflection. I have some reflection questions there. We will be working on this in the final couple of weeks. And pretty much what you should see is that across your portfolio, there will be several activities that will probably add up to about 5 to 800 words in total. Some of you will blow well past that word count, and that's totally fine because it's portfolio learning. Some of you might find it harder to get to that point, and that's totally fine. We can do some verbal things, we can do some drawings. It's really just about seeing you engage in your learning. And then this last part, again, it can be a discussion between several students and myself, it can be a discussion with you sitting in the corner with a mentor. It could be just you talking into your phone outside. Totally fine. I don't mind how we get this done, but we need to just show some reflection of what's been going on. So when we are moving towards this marking criteria, we are thinking about our portfolio. We're thinking about identity as the key theme here. And I will return to you your identity icebergs that we started with at the beginning of these couple of weeks. And we're going to see if there's anything else we can add to it now that we've been thinking about things. And what I'm hoping is that those vision boards that you started way back at the beginning of term, we'll have time to continue working on. You may actually like to create real vision boards. I've got some scrapbooking materials for us that you can make them pretty. If you are less of an arts and crafts person and you prefer to be writing a letter, please go for it, not a problem at all. Where we're going to be trying to convey what is your identity, like where's your physical appearance sitting, what's your languages that you speak, what is some of the key cultural practices that you have, what are some of the things that you're interested in, what are some of the stories that you bring to this classroom. And so how you choose to represent that is totally your call, but this will be one of the activities that we get you to really use to build your portfolio. To finish off class today, we're going to work through some little personality tests. They're just a bit of fun and a bit of a way for us to see if there's anything else, any additional layers we could add to our work here. If there's things like, Are you a zesty person? Are you a person full of gratitude? Are you a person who's more introverted or extroverted? Like always, whatever you get is totally valid because it is you and it is your personality, but it is about getting some evidence of you thinking about who you are and where you sit within this. So that is our final overview of class today. And if you missed anything, it's all up there on the Google Doc.